What if one of America's most haunting missing person cases was never as cold as we thought? For nearly 2 decades, the disappearance of Maura Murray has remained a mystery. No body, no confirmed sightings, no clear answers. But now, a new lead has surfaced, and it might finally change everything.
This image captures the kind of blinding, snow-choked conditions of a New England winter. On February 9, 2004, a black Saturn spun out and lodged into a snowbank on a freezing New Hampshire road. The engine was warm, the doors were locked, but the 21-year-old driver was gone. Look at this photograph of the United States Military Academy at West Point. Before she arrived on that dark road, Maura Murray was a cadet here. She was a star high school athlete who pushed herself into one of the most demanding academic and physical environments in the country. She eventually transferred here to the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She shifted her focus to nursing, maintaining a strong grade point average while balancing part-time jobs to cover her expenses. On paper, she was thriving, but the stress was compounding. At West Point, she faced an honor board over a stolen item from the campus store. Then, by late 2003 at UMass, police caught her using a stolen credit card number to order food to her dorm. This shows the typical environment of a nursing clinical. The schedule is relentless, demanding long hours in local hospitals, followed by late-night study sessions. 4 days before her crash, while working a late shift at a campus security desk, Maura broke down in tears, completely unresponsive when her supervisor tried to help. By the afternoon of February 9th, she had packed her dorm room into boxes. She emailed her professors, claiming a death in the family, a death that had not actually happened, requested a week off, and withdrew nearly all the money from her bank account. These are the logistical steps of someone orchestrating an immediate exit. This is Route 1112, carving through the White Mountains. It is a scenic but remote corridor, defined by winding asphalt, dense forests, and long stretches with no houses or streetlights. This was the route Maura took as she drove north from Massachusetts. This map illustrates the technological reality of 2004. Today, digital signals blanket this region, but 20 years ago, cell service was fragmented. As drivers moved deeper into Grafton County, bars dropped and coverage faded to nothing. Notice this specific stretch of wild Ammonoosuc Road. It sat squarely in a communication void. If a phone lost signal here, it couldn't ping a tower, it couldn't send GPS coordinates, and the carrier couldn't log its location. The geography itself stripped away her digital footprint. By the time her car hit the snowbank, she was completely isolated from the grid. At 7:27 p.m., a local resident named Faith Westman placed a call to 911. She had heard a loud thump outside her house and saw the black Saturn lodged in the snowbank on a sharp hairpin turn. Minutes later, around 7:35 p.m., Westman reported seeing a figure standing beside the vehicle who appeared to be smoking a cigarette. This 2004-era cell phone shows what Westman likely saw. She later corrected her statement, realizing it wasn't a cigarette cherry in the dark, but the red glow of a mobile phone screen lighting up the interior of the car. Minutes later, around 7:35 p.m., a school bus driver named Butch Atwood pulled up. He saw Maura outside the car. She was shivering in the cold, but she was coherent and didn't appear injured. He offered to help. She pleaded with him not to call the police, claiming she had already called AAA for a tow. Given the dead zone, this was impossible. AAA confirmed they had no record of a call. Knowing cell phones didn't work there, Atwood drove the short distance to his own house to use his landline. As his bus pulled away at 7:40 p.m., Maura was left standing in the freezing dark. At 7:46 p.m., Officer Cecil Smith arrived on the scene in his cruiser. Exactly 19 minutes had passed since Faith Westman heard the initial crash. In that 19-minute window, the driver completely vanished. This animation represents the scene police secured. The Saturn was locked. Both airbags had deployed, and the impact had pushed the radiator into the fan, disabling the engine. Inside, a box of wine had ruptured, staining the upholstery. Officer Smith noted her textbooks, clothes, and a favorite stuffed animal were left behind, but her car keys, her debit card, and her black backpack were missing. Then police found an incredibly strange detail. A rag from her roadside emergency kit had been deliberately stuffed into the car's tailpipe. It is a bizarre tactic, sometimes used to mask exhaust smoke or stall an engine. suggesting a calculated action right after the crash. This diagram maps the canine search initiated the next morning. Tracking dogs were given a scent article from the car. They followed her trail exactly 100 yards east along the asphalt of Route 112, and then the scent abruptly stopped. The dogs did not track her into the snowy woods. The sudden end of the trail on the roadway heavily implies she got into another vehicle, either a passing driver she flagged down or someone who forced her inside. Because of her packed dorm room and the fake email to her professors, local police initially framed the investigation around a single assumption: Maura Murray was a voluntary runaway. Look at this photo of Brooke Wilberger. She was abducted from a parking lot just a few months after Maura vanished. Well, Burke's case immediately triggered a massive, multi-agency criminal investigation. Maura's scene was treated as a routine missing person. It took 5 years for the state of New Hampshire to transfer Maura's file to their newly established cold case unit, finally officially reclassifying her disappearance as suspicious. Early theories also proposed she wandered into the woods to end her own life. Her family has consistently pointed out the physical evidence contradicts this. She packed college textbooks, birth control pills, and printed driving directions. You do not bring homework to a suicide. The insistence that she simply ran away cost investigators the most crucial hours of the case. By the time they started treating the scene as a potential crime, the 19-minute void had frozen over. For over 2 decades, the physical evidence sat in evidence lockers. Then, in March 2025, a name surfaced: Stephen Baldwin, a former West Point classmate of Maura's who had just been convicted of running a fraudulent animal charity in Ohio. Baldwin served as Maura's student advocate during the Honor Board investigation at West Point, the very disciplinary process that triggered her departure from the academy. When Baldwin was arrested for fraud, his prints were run through national databases. Police confirmed that an unidentified fingerprint lifted from a CD case left inside Maura's crashed Saturn was a match to him. The geography of rural New Hampshire erased her cell signal, and early police assumptions delayed the search. But 20 years later, modern forensic databases are finally beginning to penetrate that 19-minute void.